Today we're making a kidney-friendly substitute for feta cheese. This is a super easy recipe. I got it from a blog called The Hidden Veggies, and we're of course adjusting and tweaking some things to make it more kidney-friendly. So what do we need for this? First, we need to press our extra firm tofu. So basically you get a 14-ounce block of tofu, drain the water out, and this is what it looks like. I'm making a mess. All right. So this is what the block of tofu looks like, and we want to press some of the water out. So all you're going to do is get a cutting board, put some paper towel on it, and we're going to just slice this a little so it presses faster. Otherwise, you want to press it for about 10 minutes. So I just like to make a couple of cuts, 3 cuts, and then we'll lay that tofu out. Just like that. So now we have 4 mini blocks of tofu. Going to put another paper towel or regular towel over it. And then you're going to put something heavy on top. You could do books. I'm just going to do my knife set. Okay, so we'll let that sit while we make the marinade. Again, if you just press out the whole block or you use a tofu press, then you might want to do about 10 minutes. We'll do, a few minutes. It really doesn't matter. It's just pressing some water out. So you're going to want a shallow dish to marinate the tofu in, but I'm going to mix the marinade separately. So the first thing we need is 2 tablespoons of warm water. So I have that in here, and then we'll add everything else to this. So to the 2 tablespoons of warm water, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of a white miso paste. So this one I got at Trader Joe's. It's a little bit lower sodium, about 170 milligrams of sodium for 1 teaspoon. And of course, this is going to be spread out amongst, 6 to 8 servings. So we'll add 1 teaspoon of miso paste. Next thing is going to be 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And you can definitely use a different vinegar, but 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar. Right, now we're going to do 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. So I squeezed some lemon in here already, and I'm just going to measure out 1 teaspoon. Got a little stir at first to mix up that miso paste. All right, next we need to do 2 tablespoons of either avocado oil or olive oil. I'm going to do avocado oil. So 2 tablespoons avocado oil. And then the next things that we're going to add are just going to be our spices and seasonings. All right. So we're going to do 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast. Now we need 1 teaspoon of oregano. So the original recipe calls for either using oregano or Italian seasoning, but of course Italian seasoning is going to be a lot higher in sodium. So we're going to use just oregano. So I'm going to do 1 teaspoon. This is a half teaspoon measuring, so I'm going to do 2 of these. So 1 teaspoon of oregano. We're going to do a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of onion powder because I'm using less salt. So it's going to add some more flavor and help make up for having less salt. And then the original recipe, I think it calls for about 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt, which it's like, 350 to 400 milligrams of sodium per serving. We, of course, want to make this more kidney friendly, more heart healthy. We're going to make it lower in sodium. So I'm just going to do 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And that is it for our marinade. Just mix it all together. Smells really good. Okay, so you guys can see that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour that into, if you have a more shallow dish like this to marinate it, then it just helps make sure that all the tofu is, is covered. So our tofu we've been pressing, again, whether you use a tofu press or you're doing it like this, just press out some remaining water. And then what the recipe calls for is either cubing up your tofu, or you can just break it up into chunks, directly in to the marinade. So I would say breaking it up, like this is going to allow it to be more feta-like. See there? I just feel like it looks a little bit more like feta when we break it up like that. But big enough chunks where you could still crumble it over a salad, a wrap. The other benefit of this recipe is it's a plant protein source. And so if you like made a big salad or you made a wrap and you don't have a plant protein source, this is something that you can have marinating in your fridge. So whether you're just topping a salad to add a little bit more flavor or you're trying to use it to be your plant protein source, either one of those are totally fine. Without making too much of a mess, tofu really absorbs the flavor, like whatever marinade or sauce that you do. So this is going to absorb this delicious marinade really well. Just give it a good stir till everything is coated. Show you what it looks like. And then we're going to store this in the fridge for at least an hour. Should keep such a mess. For at least an hour before we use it. And you can, keep it in your fridge for a few days. And of course, the longer that it's in there, day 2, it's going to have a lot more flavor from all of this delicious marinade. Okay, so let me show you what this looks like. So those are our substitute for feta cheese crumbles. Just going to cover it up and we'll put that, give it a shake. We'll put that in the fridge again for at least an hour and then we can use it and we'll go over the nutrition information. Okay, our tofu has been marinating, or tofu feta alternative has been marinating for an hour. So let's give it a try and go over the nutrition information. Okay, so as you can see here, it absorbed up all of that marinade. So one serving, the great thing about this alternative to regular feta is you can have a bigger portion of it. I'll compare the two side by side, but this whole block of tofu is going to make 8 servings. One serving is 1/3 a cup, but like a heaping 1/3 a cup portion. So put that in here. So that's a pretty good amount. Again, this could be like your plant protein addition instead of just being like a cheese option to add more flavor. So some of the pieces are smaller, some are bigger, just like normal feta. Tastes really good. I mean, you think about this as tofu that's not even cooked and tons and tons of flavor. You don't miss the salt because you get a little bit of that like cheesy umami flavor from the nutritional yeast, which is awesome. Of course, you're not fooling anyone, right? Like, I'm not like, oh, this is feta cheese, and if I sit here and eat it. But the thing is when this is, crumbled up over a salad or something like that, you don't even know, or you won't miss it. So nutrition information. So one serving, a heaping 1/3 a cup portion, is 87 calories, 6.5 grams of protein, 2.5 grams of carbs, 0.5 grams of fiber. It has, sodium, 110 milligrams of sodium, 118 milligrams of potassium, 91 milligrams of phosphorus, and it's plus 1.3 prol. So the awesome thing too, with this being an alternative to cheese, is that most cheese is very positive or higher prol. And so this isn't negative prol, but it's very more like a neutral, barely positive prol or potential renal acid load. Let's compare that to feta cheese. So feta cheese for the same serving, so 1/3 a cup, which someone might not use 1/3 a cup of feta cheese, but 1/3 a cup serving of feta cheese is 133 calories, 7 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs with 0 grams of fiber, 31 milligrams of potassium, 169 milligrams of phosphorus. It's 570 milligrams or up to that amount of sodium. So 5 times the amount of sodium than in this alternative, and it's plus 5.6 prop. So plus 5.6 compared to plus 1.3. That's a big difference. This is a really good feta cheese alternative for people with kidney disease, people on a low sodium diet, people trying to do a more, Mediterranean diet, more plant-based diet. Then this is a really good option, a really good recipe. I'll put all the details for it and tag the person who originally created this recipe, and then I just made some tweaks to it. But this would be really good, again, on a salad, a wrap, probably even on a sandwich. You could have it on, if you made like a bowl, anything you would normally put feta cheese on. This is a great option, and it can also be your plant protein source for your meal. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on Plant Based Kidneys Kitchen next time.